Hello, Vanessa Webb, Stampin' Up Demonstrator Australia here. Today I am going to be showing you how to create a paper wreath. If you have subscribed to my class, you would have received a link to this. You'll receive the link to this video. I'm going to upload it to YouTube. So there's a couple of people who subscribed to the class at home, the at-home class, who weren't on Facebook. So I thought that's not going to work if I do my Facebook Live. So I thought I'd put it on YouTube, and that way a lot more people can tune in. And even if you haven't subscribed to the class, you can have a go at making this yourself at home. Just adjusting my camera here so that we can fit the wreath in. Hopefully that's mostly in camera. So here it is. It's actually got some battery operated lights scattered amongst all those pretty baubles there, and it is made entirely of cardstock and paper, designer series paper. So the papers that I'm using are from the Lights Aglow suite of products, and I'm using all three of the different papers. So you've got the Glimmer 12 by 12, and that's in Very Vanilla, Gold and Evening Evergreen. I'm using the Festive Foil Specialty Designer Series paper. That comes in Cherry Cobbler, Soft Succulent and Gold. And I'm also using this beautiful patterned 6x6 Lights Aglow Specialty Designer Series paper with the gold foil scattered throughout. I'm also using the ribbon that comes from this suite, just because it ties in so beautifully with the papers. As always, it's so easy to coordinate things with Stampin' Up. So you'll need one pack each of these to make, you might get a couple of wreaths actually out of a pack of each of these designer series papers, because what we are going to be doing is cutting some circles with them in 3 different sizes. You'll also need some fairy lights. So I've actually got the 5-meter ones there from Kmart. I think they're about $4. You'll need to provide your own AA batteries. You'll need 3 of those for these lights. The plywood wreaths that I've started, or rings, sorry, that I've started these creations with, they come in 2 different sizes, and they're also from Kmart. So you'll get 2 rings in the pack. I'm using the bigger one for my demonstration today, but you could also make a couple of smaller wreaths, and you would not need as much of the circles or the wood grain pieces to complete your wreath. So I would use both of them and mix and match, but we're going to focus on the larger wreath. We're using this for our creation today. So what I have done is I have run my Tree Rings hybrid embossing folder and matching dies through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I've done that around about, probably about 5 times. 5 5s are 25, so I get 25 tree rings out of the Very Vanilla cardstock. You'll get 5 each time. So, and the wreaths, I've just started off with plain vanilla cardstock, and what I'm going to do is just colour some of them, or all of them, if I was making a whole wreath. So you'll end up with 5 per run through. I'm going to ink up my blending brush in crumb cake ink, and just come in from the side just to take away that vanilla-y look about them and give them a bit more of an authentic wood grain appearance. So you can add 2 different colours if you want to. You might even want to come in with your sponge dauber and use your soft suede, which is a little bit darker. And again, just come around the edges with your dauber just to pick up that lovely wood grain embossed effect that you've created as you've run it through with your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I would go ahead and do this with all 25. I know it sounds a lot, but we need that many to actually cover our ring. And what we're going to do first of all is we're just going to attach them with glue dots. So feel free to pause. Obviously you're going to be able to pause this video and just do things at your own pace as you're creating. I'm not going to show you a ring from start to finish, but I am going to show you all the different steps that you might wanting to be following. So I've coloured in a few more rings here. And with your glue dots, what you're going to do is grab a couple on the back of each of your rings. But what I would do first is I would actually arrange them all the way around my ring, just like this, so that you're covering the whole ring like this. And you may or may not use all 25 of them. You want to layer them over the top of each other so that they cover the entire ring. So just imagine that we've got all of these just balanced on there. And then once they're balanced, I would grab a glue dot for each one, or a couple of glue dots in fact for each one. And I would stick them to each other like this. So what I'm doing is I'm getting 2 glue dots on the back of each of my tree rings, and I am going to stick them down just so that they're all kind of stuck to each other. Now you may or may not be sticking them to the actual balsa wood ring, the wood ring, but that's okay because we're going to be using our, once they're in that ring shape, all of these little, see that one will be stuck, but once they're in a ring shape, they kind of hold together enough for you to come in with your hot glue gun, and I've got mine all ready to go here. Just get these little tree rings off here, and I'm just going to squeeze a bit of glue just on the wooden part of the ring to hold these these paper wood pieces down. And this is going to hold it very, very firmly so that you won't have to add any more adhesive. And that's the idea of using the hot glue. So you will need hot glue. You'll need to get some extra refills for your hot glue because all of the baubles are actually held on with this. So just a little tip. Again, if you're in Australia, you can grab a hot glue gun for around about $6, I think, from Kmart as well. It comes already with some refills. But yes, they do sell extra glue sticks for you to put in your glue gun. So when all of the wreath is stuck down, it will look something like this. So this is the upper side and the underside is here. So you're basically hiding all of that wreath with those faux wood pieces. Then you're going to assemble all of your baubles. So let me just bring in my original one just to show you how many baubles there are of each. So there's actually 3 big ones, 3 medium-sized ones, and 3 smaller baubles. So there's 9 baubles altogether. You will know if you are a card maker that odd numbers always look better. Circles are very pleasing to the eye, but odd numbers and circles, you can't go wrong with that. So we're going to do 3 of each. And I have used my circle dies, my layering circle dies. I've used a large, a medium and a small. It doesn't really matter what size you use. You just want to cut your designer series paper to fit the circles that you're using. So I'm using 1 red, 1 green and a neutral piece for my medium size. For my larger size, I'm using 1 of each of the specialty foil. So there's the cherry cobbler, the gold, and the soft succulent. So that's my large one. And for my small one, I've actually already cut my small, my small circles out of the what's it called? The glimmer paper. The glimmer paper is what it is. So you will cut enough to make 3 of each of these baubles in the various different sizes. So let me show you how to put them together because they are actually quite easy to do. And we're going to use, for putting them together, we will use the Tombow adhesive. So what you want to do is make a fold, but you need to remember to keep the side that you want showing on your bauble to the inside of your fold. So I'm just folding up these small ones, which I've already pre-cut, obviously, from my glimmer paper in the 3 different colours, and I want 2 of each. Each bauble, if you want to jot this down, each bauble has 6 circles that create the bauble, and the bauble doesn't close fully back on itself, and I'll show you what I mean, because we actually need a flat surface for the bauble to stick down onto the wreath itself. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of extra glue here because I ended up with too much glue. Less is more with this Tombow glue, remember. You don't need to use a lot. So that's my 3 different colours all stuck together. So you just want to pinch it together like that as you're going around and just apply glue to one side. And again, it's a fairly simple process. You're just sticking. If you think about them being tacos that you're sticking together, that will kind of give you the concept of what we're going for. So we're sticking all the little tacos together. And then when we come to stick it on our wreath, I will show you. I'm going to demonstrate this a couple of times with the different sizes, just so you can see it a couple of times before you have to do it. So on my wreath, I would arrange all 3 of my big ones, all 3 of my little ones, and then to stick it on, you're just going to flatten it out at the back and apply a little bit of hot glue. Remember, this is super hot, so you don't want to get that on your skin at all. All right, here is my larger one, which I've used. I'm going to get 3 of each colour. So, sorry, 2 of each colour, 6 all together. I'll get that right. There you go. So that's going to create one of my large baubles. And I will just fold that in the middle like that. You could use your bone folder to make those folds nice and crisp. It gets easier as the paper gets thinner. So this paper is fairly thin and it's one-sided, so it's fairly easy to see which side you might want to have in the middle. You will have the coloured side, obviously, because that's the side that you're going to be able to see when your bauble is fanned out and all the tacos reveal the pattern of the paper. So just going to put a little swizzle of glue on each of these and stick them together. You get the idea. So we're actually sticking 6 of these together per bauble, and you would do 3 of these large baubles as well as 3 of the small ones, and 3 of the medium ones. So you'll have to do the math. I can't work out how many circles that is. 3 times 6 is 18. So I guess you're doing 18 out of each designer paper, but they're different colours and different patterns in going across the bauble. So you can see how that fans out to make a 3-tone bauble, which is kind of cool. And again, you just want to get a little bit of the hot glue on the back and stick it to your wood. So the wood, actually, the faux wood from the hybrid embossing folder and dies, actually creates a base to put your baubles on. And once they're all on, okay, so we'll just pretend that I've got everything on there. You will want to start to put together your ribbon. So I've got a long piece, and a shorter piece. And let me just see if I can work out how many centimeters or inches they are. So I've got 16 by 16 by 16. So 16 times 3, if you can do that in your head, and just another length of about 16 inches. So 16 times 3 inches and 1 times 16 inches. So with the longer piece, the 3 times 16 inches, you're going to loop that around 4 fingers. So I'm just going to keep looping like this to get it into a bow shape, and you're going to cinch it in the middle. You will have some loose ends, but that's okay. And with your shorter end, so your shorter length of ribbon, this is the ribbon that actually comes from the Lights Aglow suite, which is just gorgeous, and it picks up all the gold foil accents in the designer series paper, which is very pretty. So I've just tied that in one knot, and I'm going to do a double knot, and this will be like the tails of our bow. So when your bow is when your bow is stuck on, which I'm going to do that in a second, that will be the top of your wreath. I'm going to just separate all of these loops out so that let me just plug my battery in so I don't run out of juice in the middle. Yeah, so you'll actually want to cinch it in at the middle and then tease out those, tease out all of those loops to create a fuller bow, which will then become a feature on your wreath, if that makes sense. So I'm going to then just pop a little dollop of the hot glue. So there's my tails. And I'm just going to tease these out a little bit. A dollop of hot glue behind that knot is all I need just to secure that bow onto my wreath, and that's going to dry pretty quickly. Once it's dried, you can keep fiddling and teasing out those little loops even more, just to create a fuller bow. But that's basically how you do it. All right, now we come to the lights, and you will need, as I said, to grab some fairy lights. And what I would recommend with these is that you unravel them completely. So you just want to take them out of the box, and you'll see the little battery holder that holds the 3 AA batteries. You will want to have the side with the screw, which is the side that comes off to put your batteries in. You want that facing the outside so that you can unscrew that. We're going to actually put some Velcro there and there so that the box can sit and hopefully be mostly hidden behind the bow. Because it's black, you won't be able to see it because your wreath's going to have a bit of a shadow behind it anyway. But you'll probably be able to cover most of that box with the wood pieces, the faux wood pieces, and also your baubles. But what you want to do when you get this is find the end, and this can be a little bit tricky, so I can see my end is there. You actually want to unravel it completely from the piece of cardboard that it's wound around, because you want to wrap it round again, but with the very end on the inside of the loops. So we're just going to unwrap it all the way. This will make it easier for us to actually wind it around our wreath and not get it tangled in anything. So I'm just going to start my winding for you. I'm not going to secure my box yet. So you'll be able to get some of that double-sided adhesive, one-sided adhesive Velcro like this, and you want the soft edge to be on one side and the sharp edge to be on the other side of this box to hold it securely to your wreath. So you're going to wind this back on to that cardboard. Let me just find my end again. And the good thing about this is that you can bend the lights into whatever shape you might want to have on your wreath. So it will actually stay put. So you can bend it, mold it, shape it however you like. So I'm just winding this back on with this on the inside this time, the very end on the inside. You're just going to keep winding around. And then if you get to the end of your cardboard, you just want to go back again. Keep winding it on, and you're going to be holding this as you're winding it onto your wreath in a second. So keep winding. Don't worry if it just gets a few little kinks in it, because as I said, you can bend it to whatever shape you might want it to be. Okay, here we go. We're getting towards the end now. Okay, so now this is the bit that we're going to hold as we're winding. So we're going to hold our box. Remember, you want the screw facing the wall, if you like, as you're hanging your wreath. but you want that to be on easily accessed. Excuse me. And then you're going to start to wind your lights on. So they just keep going around like this. You want to make sure you get some up the top, so you may have to wind this around a couple of times to actually get the lights there. And you just keep winding around until you have run out of your, until you've run completely out of your lights. So you'll get to the very end. And then if you've got more lights to go, you just keep winding around. It's okay to have a double layer, because as you can see, you're going to just arrange them. Once they're on, you'll be able to see how bright they are and how many you might have accumulated in one spot. Let me just put this one to the side. So on my original, you'll see how they're fairly even, and the box is actually secured with some Velcro. So we've got one side is the tooth side, the other side's the soft side, and there is my little screw or little opening for the box to put my batteries in, like that. And then that just clasps closed like that. So you'll be able to I'm sure you'll be able to find batteries at any shop. I think Kmart even sells those as well. There's not much Kmart doesn't sell. So that's basically how to make this wreath. Just remember there's 9 baubles, 3 of each size, and there's 6 circles, 6 of these circles that make up each bauble. Depending on what cardstock or glimmer paper or foil designer paper, specialty designer paper you're using. I hope that you have a lot of fun making your own wreaths at home. I'm going to post a photo of this as well at the beginning of this video so that you'll see the finished wreath. And don't forget, you can pause the video at any point and catch up as you're creating your own wreath at home. Thank you so much for watching. I'll also put the ingredients down the bottom of this video so that you'll be able to know what to order in my online store if you'd like to make one of your own. Thanks for watching. Bye.